It is 4 p.m. We're redeveloping news to the stories behind the headlines. This is Storicon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Friday, the weekend, June 13. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has asked the International Criminal Court, or the ICC, to grant him interim release to a third country. The former president's lawyer says the country has already agreed to receive him, though its name has been redacted. Duterte also promised not to flee or commit further crimes, adding he no longer has the power he once held. In Kuala Lumpur, Senator Judge Robin Padilla expressed support for a possible tandem between VP Sara Duterte and Senator Amy Marcos in 2028. He says he's ready to be a campaign manager for them and their Senate slate. Padilla and Marcos are senator judges in the vice president's impeachment trial. VP Sara Duterte describes the impeachment complaint against her as, and we quote, cowardly, disingenuous, and arrogant. Duterte accuses her critics of lacking decency and being, quote, drunk with power. Meantime, Senator-elect Tito Soto slammed the Senate's move to return the impeachment articles to the House, calling it flawed.
Nananatili tayong nakatayo dahil ang ipinaglalaban natin ay tama at totoo. We remain strong, steadfast, and grounded in truth, integrity, and faith in the hand of God. Justice bends to the truth, and we are ever more resolute in our fight for the Philippines.
Ang motion ng mga judges is for issues lang for clarification. Ganun lang. Hindi come up with a resolution na without hearing the trial or inquiry, yet without listening to the defense or listening to the prosecution first. That is not a practice as an impeachment judge. Hindi ginagawa yun.
President Bongbong Marcos offers condolences to India following the crash of Air India flight AI-171 shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad. Marcos says the Filipino people stand in solidarity with India and grieve with the families of the victims. At least 241 people were killed when the London-bound plane crashed into a residential area after takeoff, striking a hospital complex and a student hostel. Only one passenger, a British national, survived the tragedy. And Filipinos in Israel have been advised to stay indoors amid the possible retaliation from Iran. This comes after Tel Aviv bombed several military and nuclear sites in Iran yesterday. Israel warned of more strikes to come, while Iran vowed severe retaliation and blamed both Israel and the United States. Washington has denied any involvement. Joining us today, let me start off with those who are not joining us today. Teka, Ami, wala yung makasama ko rito eh. Si Regina Lay is not here today. And ang ating political heckler is also not here today. Meron siyang ka-meeting at ka-prayer. May ka-prayer meeting at si Tito Ronald. So, kasama pa rin naman natin ang bossing ng Philippine Star mula sa Parañaque City, si Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan. Ami, good afternoon and happy weekend.
Hi, Ed. Happy Friday. I'm sure you're looking forward to the weekend.
Hindi ako. Gusto ko ng trabaho. Ayoko nga mag-weekend eh. Kung pwede nga, dire-diretso ng ano eh.
Hindi naman.
Teka, umahaba yung ilong ko. Teka.
Hindi naman tumatahimik ang mundo natin ng weekend. Mas maraming ang milagrong nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas pag weekend eh.
Oo nga. Uy, teka, Ami, napanood ba yung video ni Robin Padilla sa Kuala Lumpur tsaka ni Amy Marcos?
Ngayon ko pa lang napapanood. Oo.
Teka, ito,
Paano kaya yun?
ipalabas natin kasi it's interesting. I mean,
Yes.
This was posted by Robin, by Robin Padilla himself. Sige,
Yeah.
let's play the video first so that everyone can see. Chok, teka, wait lang.
Ayan.
Wait lang daw. Huwag sabihin niya nagda-download pa lang kayo. Anyway, just for context, of course, you have to remember that this week na-convene ang Senate Impeachment Court,
Yes.
which would include Senator Judge Robin
Vote-taking.
Padilla and Senator Judge Amy Marcos. They will try sa impeachment court si accused Sara Duterte. At ito na po ang video galing kay Senator Robin Padilla.
Si Robin Padilla hindi politiko. Si Robin Padilla sa 2028 campaign manager ako ni Inday Sara Duterte at ni Amy Marcos At siyempre, ang mga senador nila, Doc Mata, Jimmy Bondoc, Atty. Hillo.
Actually, mahaba-haba pa yun eh. There was a point where Senator Robin was saying na ang pagkaka-introduce ni Senator Robin kay VP Sara Duterte, ang susunod na Pangulo ng Pilipinas. And then they start shouting, including Robin Padilla, they start shouting, Duterte, Duterte, Duterte. This is in Kuala Lumpur, kung saan nag-Independence Day celebration si VP Sara. Tapos naman, there was a portion in the video where si Senator Amy spoke at sabi niya, talagang hindi sila nagsuot ng robes ng senator judges. Sila ni Robin and I think several sila eh. Hindi sila talaga nagsuot dahil ayaw daw nila dahil hindi raw maganda. I don't know if she meant
But
politically.
they took their oath, huh?
Yeah. But I don't know
Took their oath to be impartial judges.
There you go. Yun nga eh,
Ah.
that is part of the oath as taken by the senator judges.
Yes.
Yun nga lang, these things that happened yesterday in Kuala Lumpur, we don't know how people are going to take this.
Well, yung may mga congressman na nagsasabi, pinag-aaralan daw nila kung pwedeng mag-move sila na mag-recuse yung mga yan.
Mhm. Pero, Ami, if I remember right, ang recusation at inhibition, these are all voluntary eh.
Voluntary.
Oo,
They're voluntary.
Nobody can force anybody to recuse.
Oo.
So,
Kasi ang buwelta naman ng kabilang kampo, bakit yung sila, rin daw, yung mga nakikita rin naman daw kung sino yung mga pro-impeachment at saka nakikita rin, pero hindi naman nila sinasamahan kasi yung respondent, Yan ang pagkakaiba nun.
yun nga, it's like in a trial, pag ang judge at ang isa sa mga stakeholders ay nagsasama,
Yes.
sa-
Makita lang yung judge kasama yung lawyer,
oo,
Di ba?
may mga tanong na doon.
Pero
Paano
nang
pa pag may
pwede nang
endorsement?
maging issue sa kanila yun,
Paano pa
Whether
pag may
pro or
endorsement?
against, whether pro or against.
Mm.
Pwede silang makasuhan. Hindi natin alam kung ganyan kasi sinasabi nila this is a political process. Pero hindi ko naman nakikita yung salitang political dun sa dun sa Constitution. It is
No, it's not there.
it's a, diba? It's not there. It's not saying it's political.
Yeah,
It's a
it's not there.
process for accountability.
Well, that's it. A
Diba?
process for accountability. Pero nga, it also goes back to the question, can you do anything about it? Kasi in the end, it's the senator judges who have power over themselves. I don't
Yan
think
na nga.
anybody else has any power over them. So, whatever they do, may magagawa. Meron bang may
Remember,
magagawa?
si Robin is this the chairman of the Committee on Constitutional
Constitutional
Amendments
yeah.
pa yan, Andrews. Sa bagay, amendment hindi naman yung Constitution. Baka
Iba yun,
gusto
iba
niya
yun.
ipa-amend. Diba?
So,
Baka
may
gusto
mga
niya
ganung
ipa-amend,
issue.
imbis na mag-comply.
Actually, we were hoping to get sana some. We were hoping sana to get some legal luminaries to talk about these things. I know it's not exactly a legal issue kasi nga as far as we can tell wala silang legal na sabit kasi it's all voluntary.
Well, saka hindi daw siya, it's not judicial
Oo, it's not judicial.
Strictly, it's not judicial.
Oo. So may mga
It's
ganun.
a sui generis, lalo na
Sui
to,
generis,
hindi
yeah,
pa yan,
across its
first
own.
time.
Mm. Okay. We'll
Pero
also-
ibig ba sabihin nun, you can do anything you want?
Well,
Meron din constitutional parameters, di ba? The fact that it falls under the section in the Constitution na accountability.
Article
Di ba
11.
dapat yun ang guidance natin?
Teka, Bok, let's bring in our first guest for today. Baka he can also weigh in si
Yes.
UP Los Baños Professor Antonio Contreras. Sir, magandang hapon, Professor Contreras, and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Professor.
Magandang hapon. Thank you for having me.
Ang dami sir nasa plato natin ngayon. Ang dami nasa lamesa. Among them,
Oo nga
itong
eh.
nangyari kahapon sa Kuala Lumpur, that's one. The other thing, of course, is yung post nga ninyo that you find agreement with the Adolfo Ascuna and Dean Tony Labiña dun sa nangyari na remand nga, pero it's also a plus. It's both a plus and a minus, I
Tuloy-tuloy pa
suppose,
rin,
in
no?
both ways. And one more. I also want to throw in one more on the table. Unahan ko na kayo. One more on the table. Di ba, the first demand of unang order ng Senado, ng Senate Impeachment Court is a certification na that the 19th Congress did everything constitutionally, which they gave already with the resolution 2346 nung isang gabi. But the second order ng Senate Impeachment Court is for the 20th Congress to give an assurance na it is still interested in pursuing the impeachment. Actually, the question there is, what if the 20th Congress says, no, we're not?
Well, actually, ito yung sinasabi ko na akala siguro nitong mga pro-Duterte senators na kaisa sila. I think they did that because they thought they're going to delay the process. But on a deeper analysis, it's not going to delay because the timetable will not be postponed anyway. Kasi with or without the remand motion, talaga namang di na nila pwedeng aksyonan yung impeachment. Kasi,
Crossover talaga.
alam mo, assuming na wala yung remand, meron pang 15 days kasi eh. Kasi 10 araw ang ibibigay kay Sara Duterte para sumagot. Plus 5 days para sa House Prosecution Panel. Di 15 days na yon, assuming na i-exhaust nila yung maximum from the 11th plus 50, that's the 26th. Di 4 na araw na lang, June 30 na. So wala namang nagbago. And then itong nangyari pa na ang unang condition nila is talagang kumbaga sa manin lang yun eh. Kasi kung titingnan mo sa jurisprudence, klaro naman, uso ngayon sabing I'm not a lawyer, di ba? Tayong tatlo po tayo hindi lawyer. Yun ang uso ngayon, I'm not a lawyer. Para bagang nakakahiya nang sabihin. Pero kung babasahin mo, malinaw ang Francisco ruling. Hindi dahil sa nag-file ka, nag-initiate na. Kailangan i-refer sa Justice Committee. Yung naunang tatlo hindi na na-refer. Naging moot, na-archive na siya kasi meron ng bagong final nung February 5 na 250 na nakapirma, and that was the strongest because doon wala nang referral. Ni-refer na sa Committee on the Whole, which is the entire House, and it's going to be the articles of impeachment na wala ng hearing. So, dito on solid ground. So, anong na-achieve doon? Wala. Kasi sasabihin lang ng House, nag-comply kami.
Yeah,
Tukol
certification
naman doon sa sinasabi may ikalawang kondisyon na sa totoo lang impossible for the 19th Congress to comply with because the 20th Congress is still not there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But what it effectively commanded the process is that it should now go to the 20th Congress for the 20th Congress to act. Di ba? Parang na-assure na yung debate. Kaya nga si Tolentino,
Crossover.
kung titignan mo, kahit majority floor leader si Tolentino, parang nanghina parang umupo na lang Wala na siya nagawa kasi naisahan. Parang yung motion, yung kanilang ruling na approve nila, inassure nila na magko-cross yung impeachment sa 20th Congress. And I have no doubt. Alalahanin natin, 215 na nakapirma. More than 80% ng 215 ay na-re-elect. Alam nga namang magbago isip nila. So they will just confirm that it's going to go. So, anong na-achieve ngayon ng motion na ito na kung titingnan mo ay unprecedented? Hindi. Sabi ni Adolfo Ascuna, highly irregular, highly new, pero pwede namang i-allow. Pero
Yeah.
anong na-achieve niyan? Anong victory ang sinasabi nila? Hindi nila nabago ang clock.
Ami, may tanong, pero go ahead. If you wanna throw in a question
Yung tinatanong kanina yung pinag-uusapan namin kanina ni Ed, yung sa recusal ng mga, may basis ba yun? Kung sakasakali man na, pinag-aaralan pa naman ngayon ng mga House Prosecutor.
Kung
Kung
matitino,
sakasakali lang na i-move nila yan, sa tingin mo may pag-asa yun?
Can they be forced,
Ala-
kumaga?
alam mo Ed and Ami, kung normal tong mga taong ito at merong prinsipyo, mag-recuse sila. Kasi alam naman natin na bilang huwes, ako nga nung nakaupo akong tanunood, sabi ko mukhang naisa na naman si Bato dito, nakasuot na sila ng kanilang mga toga, di ba? Ibig sabihin, hindi siya pwedeng mag-move to dismiss kasi judge na siya. Akala ko nga, nung tumayo siya to move to dismiss, I was expecting Chis Escudero to rule him out of order. Or even Risa and Coco Pimentel to remove to whom rule him out of order. Ang ginawa nung dalawa, nag-manifest lang sila but they did not move. If I were there, I would have moved. I would have objected that it's out of order. Kasi he's already a judge. Now, eto ngayon, nandun ngayon si Robin Padilla at saka si Amy Marcos sa Kuala Lumpur, kasama nila yung defendant, yung accused, yung impeached. That itself is already another example of a clear conflict of interest. So, hindi naman kasi sinasabi natin sui generis, hindi naman sila obligado, hindi sila normal na huwes. Pero sabi ko nga, alam mo naman, maaring magbago ang justification, pero ang palabra di honor, ang delikadesa, ang prudence, meron tayong pamantayan dyan. Ang problema, normal lang ng mga tao ang pwedeng
Tamaan.
bigyan natin ng ganyang kondisyon. Sa ganitong mga sitwasyon, hindi lang naman ang sitwasyon ng hindi normal. Pati yung ibang mga tao na gumagalaw sa sitwasyong ito parang hindi na rin normal.
Pero sir, kung marami na shock dun sa pangyayari ng Tuesday night, dun sa, well, the move to dismiss and so on down the line, kung marami na shock doon, mas marami na shock kahapon dun sa napanood nila with Robin and Amy. Well, rightly or wrongly, marami na shock. But my question is this and this was our question kanina, kami dalaw ni Amy, na can anybody do anything about it? Kasi nga, di ba, recusal and inhibition basically are voluntary actions eh. So what can people do? Manunod lang tayo. React
Well,
naman tayo.
the effect naman kasi of a recusal, yun, it's optics. Kasi kapag naman, ang alalahanin natin ng wordings ng Constitution, dapat ay 16 ang boto
Yeah.
na
And two-thirds.
4. So kahit na merong nag-recuse, 16 pa rin yun. So ibig sabihin niya, kahit mag-recuse si Amy at saka si Robin, o kaya kung sino man, 16 pa rin yun. So a recusal means a no vote. In
Yeah.
effect,
Yeah,
it's
that's
going,
true.
so it's still going to be a no vote. But it is going to, if they're going to recuse, they're going to recuperate their dignity. They're going to recuperate their honor. They're going to recover something that they will probably have to bear for the rest of their lives, of their political lives, and even beyond, which is basically the dishonor. Na imagine, judge ka tapos hindi ka na prejudge mo na, hindi lang blatantly nagmo-move ka to dismiss and in fact you are the judge, but also you are even cavorting with them, gallivanting with them somewhere else openly, and so it's something that I think any citizen should demand these people to be accountable. Now, of course, it's going to always go to a shame campaign for them. I don't know whether it's going to work, but the practical implication of this and the impeachment is that it's not going to make anyone difference, except that their absence would probably make our lives easier. Yung urge mo na batuhin ng sapatos ang telebisyon ay mababawasan siguro dahil kakaunti na magsasabi ng ganon. Pero
Sino
yung bang
talaga?
I was about to do that the last time I was watching, parang ganon. Parang yung mababawasan ka na stress, pero hindi naman sa bilang kasi kaya sila inaandon kasi sila wala. Mag-recuse man sila o
Yeah,
hindi,
that's
ang
true eh.
binibilang,
Yeah.
ang binibilang pa rin kung ilan yung
It's 16
mag-impeach,
pa rin
which is
eh.
16.
Yeah.
16.
That's I get what you mean. Sir. I understand what you mean. Pero sir, isn't it also possible na this can be seen as a signaling of sorts na they don't seem to care about optics and they're very confident that they have popular support.
Well, regarding popular support, I don't think they're reading the people's polls very well. Tapos na pong eleksyon, tapos na yung election season. Iba na nga season ngayon, pinag-uusapan ng impeachment. And ako, gut feel ko lang, mukhang natatalo sila pagdating sa optical wars. Kasi ang tao ang nakikita yung garapalan, ang nakikita yung pagtatago. Alalahanin natin 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, depending which survey firm you're using, would like the impeachment process to proceed. That's an overwhelming majority. Ngayon, kung sila kinukontra nila yon, nagtatanong ang tao, at kung talaga namang malakas ang kaso ni Sara, magagaling kanyang abogado, meron na silang number para hindi ma-impeach ito at hindi ma-convict, bakit ayaw nilang palabasin ang ebidensya? May tinatago. Yan ang mga kausap ko sa ordinaryong mamamayan yan na nagigets nila na parang, kung madali naman palang wala naman lang kasalanan, ba't hindi sagutin? Yun nasagot ng mga tao. Kasi the more na itago nila yan, it's not going to end. Even if they're successful in killing the impeachment, it's not going to end. Those who say that this is a divisive exercise, the country will not heal if Sara is acquitted. In fact, it's going to further drive the wounds, the division. Because, kung sa relasyon, walang closure. Patuloy tayo matotraumatize. Hindi ka maka-move on dito kasi walang closure ang kaso. At sino masasaktan dito? Di siyempre yung na-impeach. Kasi tama nga naman yung argumento. Once na-impeach ka, meron ng cloud of doubt. Kumbaga sa ano, meron ng probable cause na ano sa'yo. Hindi ka naman na-acquit because you are innocent. You have been acquitted because of technicality. People know that. People are not stupid.
Professor, doon pa rin sa doon sa nangyari sa Kuala Lumpur. Sa tingin niyo seryoso si Senator Robin Hood about the another Duterte Marcos tandem? Baliktad nga lang yung presidente ngayon yung Duterte.
Well, they can go ahead and have their black campaign, di ba? Itim ang kulay ng Pilipinas para sa kanila. So they can do that, but as to whether it's going to win, that's something else. Many things can happen from now until 2028. Ang nakakaano lang dito, natin pag-usapan natin yung sinabi ni Sara Duterte na parang nasa tight leash daw, ang ginamit niyang word. Nasa tight leash niya daw si Jaime Marcos.
Siya.
Parang
Hostage daw
hinuhold niya hostage because parang ransom niya kailangan ipauwi si
Kailangan bumalik.
that's very significant kasi ibig sabihin niyan they are blackmailing the senator. Mayroong pang-blackmail parang ransom. Ang tanong dito, di ba, ano nangyayari ba sa kidnapping kapag yung ransom hindi na ibayad? Di ba may ginagawa sa hostage? Anong gagawin ng mga Duterte?
Pero sa tingin mo, it's a serious alliance kasi yung mga kapatid ni Sara Duterte they have openly said na ayaw na nila sa mga Marcoses
including
And
China.
even the partner of Rodrigo Duterte, sila Hanilet, alam naman natin na yung tropang yan, they were never in favor of after the fallout of the unity ayaw na talaga nila dun sa mga Marcos, including Jaime. Dahil tinatanong sila specifically about her.
Well,
Ayaw nila, alam naman natin yun. So anong tingin niyo dito sa alliance na to?
simple lang ang masasabi ko dyan. Huwag na natin seryosohin ang sinasabi ni Robin Padilla. Whatever comes out of him, we don't take it seriously, because, it's probably what he just wants. Paano mo siseryosohin ng isang senador na ang nagkikipagkape sa isang standee sa The Hague, sa isang karton? You don't simply take that seriously. I'd rather think of the 2028 as very fluid right now. We don't even know whether Sara will be able to run. I don't even know whether she will still be popular in 2028. Assuming that she's going to survive the impeachment, we don't know. There is always Bongo. There is always Bongo, a dark horse, making his own move. Very quiet, stealthily. At alam naman natin, hindi magkasundo si Bongo at si Sara Duterte. Kung hindi magkasundo ang mga Duterte at saka si Jaime, hindi rin magkasundo si Sara at saka si Bong. So, yan ang isa rin. At saka ang iba pang mga kapatid niya, hindi rin kasundo si Bongo. So, it's something that is in the equation. So it's something that we have to look into.
Prof, balikan ko yung tanong ko kanina. The second order ng Senado for the 20th Congress to give an assurance that it will pursue the impeachment trial. Actually, may konting debate dun eh. Was it an order to the 19th Congress to give an assurance that the 20th Congress will pursue it? Or was it an order to the 20th Congress, which will convene on the 28th of July pa, to give an assurance that it is going to pursue it? If it's the second one, if it's an order to the 20th Congress in the future on July 28 to give an assurance that it will pursue the impeachment case, what if the 20th Congress says na wag na lang kaya kasi mukhang malakas tong kalaban. I make reference to that because of the results of the elections. I know sabi nga ninyo, malamang most of those who signed the impeachment complaint probably got re-elected in Congress kasi the elections were in the local level eh. Pero nationally, umarangkada ulit yung mga Dutertes. You saw the Senate results. So baka mamaya they're also watching that and making tansya kung sino yung lumalamang. Alam mo naman how politicians are. Kakabit yan kung kanino mukhang panalo.
Well, actually, they don't have that much time to wait because they have to make a decision as soon as the Congress convenes in July 28, and that's still fresh. The 2028 is still a long way from now. The president may not be a re-electionist, but he's not a lame duck. He can still wield enormous power. So I'm sure nagbibilang pa rin sila. And with this kind of situation right now, of course, Ed, you have to understand, when we say that the Dutertes had a runaway victory, I don't think that's accurate. Hindi naman ganoon kalaki ang victory nila nung ano. Ang nagpanalo kay Bongo hindi ang DDS. Ang nagpanalo kay Bongo lahat ng tao dahil sa kanyang malasakit center. You have to understand that. And then De La Rosa won because he's a re-electionist, not because if you look at the map, the electoral map, the Duterte candidates lost miserably outside Mindanao. You know? So it's not good to say that they are on. And then even in Mindanao, their candidates lost. Piñol lost. Pantaleon Alvarez lost. The outside Davao City, all the other Davaos, yung kanilang mga kaalyansa hindi naman nanalo. Mas nanalo pa nga yung kaalyansa nila Romualdez. So I think it's still very fluid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And if I'm going to make a gamble, if I'm a congressman, I'd rather stay with the status quo right now, and then play my game later na. Papakiramdaman ko yan. Pero sa ngayon, they have to understand that the electorate is very, very volatile right now, and the electorate, the feelings about the impeachment is very raw. I think sa ngayon nabaligtad ang dynamics. Ang eleksyon mabilis na wala sa mga tao, sa consciousness. Ang pinag-uusapan na ngayon impeachment. Wala na tayo doon sa kampihan sa eleksyon eh. Ang pinag-uusapan ngayon, yung mga tao gustong malaman ano ba talaga ang nangyari. Tama ba talaga yung aklegasyon kay Sara Duterte? So yun ang gusto nila makita. And if you're going to countervail that, you are in the wrong side sa tingin ko sa ngayon.
Professor, anong basa mo kay Amy? Kasi baka naman yung biro ni Robin Padilla sa Kuala Lumpur baka basehan naman doon sa mga biruan din nila doon. You think it might be possible na iniisip din, kasi iniisip ng mga tao bakit ang lapit si Amy Marcos sa mga Duterte. Because we all know na hindi naman siya, she was close to her brother, no? She used to be very close to her brother, advisor yan ng ano niya ng kapatid niya. Especially in 2022, she played a critical role. I think isa yan sa dahilan kung bakit nagkaganyan, dahil hindi nasunod yung pinangako niya sa kabila. Pero sa tingin mo, ngayon,
marami ang pwedeng ini-spin Yung isa, talaga nagkaroon sila ng hidwaan ng kapatid niya, nagtatampo, malalim ang galit, kaya talagang kumakampi para saktan ng pamilya. At hindi lamang yung kapatid na siguro ang nagsumakit sa kanya, kahit ang ang first lady, si mga pinsans, ganon. Ang isa naman na sinasabi ng iba, nagkukunwari sila kasi gusto nila magkaroon din ng insurance na kahit kung mangyari man ang mga Duterte ang bumalik, at least merong Marcos doon sa kampo na yon. So these are things that are possible, but right now whatever Amy does, Amy is it's a miracle that she won, and I think the reason why she won is because the Ilocanos did not abandon her. The Ilocanos still voted for her. I think that's the key. Amy Marcos won not because of the Duterte votes, because he did not fare that well too in Mindanao. Amy Marcos won because he still topped Regions 1 and 2. So that's something, and with high margin. So yun ang nagpanalo sa kanya. So yun ang dapat isipin ni Manang Amy. Sa ngayon, kung siya ay magpupumilit na kalyado sa mga Duterte, mas masalimot yun. Baka nga mas madali pa sa kanya politically humingi ng tawad sa kapatid niya at mag-reconcile kaysa sa mag-create siya ng sarili niyang nest sa Duterte. Landscape sa Duterte. Mukhang mas maraming problema siya doon.
Okay. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon, Professor
Thank you.
Antonio Contreras ng UP Los Baños. Sir, always good to have you on board.
Thank you.
thank you, Professor.
You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a break. We'll be right back. We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and of course with us, Ami Pamintuan, the boss of the Philippine Star over there in Parañaque. Hi, Ami. Still good to have you here. Kahit
Hello.
weekend na, nandiyan ka pa rin nagtatrabaho. Okay, Ami. Now, joining us is our second guest, Father Ranhilio Aquino, the Dean of the San Beda Graduate School of Law. Dean Father, or Father Dean, I'm sorry. I'm not exactly sure how to
Father
say it,
na
sir.
lang, Father.
Father Aquino, thank you for joining us and welcome to Storycon po.
Hi,
Hi,
good
Father.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ed. Good afternoon, Nani.
Thank you for joining us, Father. Father,
Thank you too. Thank you too.
I read with interest yung inyong post. Remanding is wrong on all counts. You have several posts on that, and you also posted about yung comments ni Dean Tony Lavinia. But let me ask you this, Father. Kasi ginawa na ng Senado, nag-remand na siya, 2 order pa ang binigay sa Kongreso. But what can be done at this particular point? Kasi what we're seeing right now is the ball is being tossed around. The Senate tossed the ball to the House. The House tossed the ball back to the Senate by saying that we are deferring action. We're deferring receipt of the remand order. Nagdi-dribble. So what's left for us to do except to watch? Ganun lang ba tayo? And wait for these two chambers to sort things out? Or can something be done by us, by everybody?
Well, this is really disgusting, and it is disgusting because we are supposed to see our legislators behaving like true statesmen. That's not what's happening now. Well, to the credit of the lower house, and I give credit to the lower house, as soon as the order of remand was issued, the lower house issued a resolution ratifying the first 3 complaint impeachments that were filed.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now,
Father.
If this dribbling continues and neither house wants to take action, I think aside from the vigilance that our citizens have already started to exercise by massing at streets or passing or pressing their congressmen and their senators to do something, I think interested and qualified parties can bring suit before the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court to resolve this matter once and for all.
Oh, okay. So, Father, it's justiciable na po.
Yes, I think very clearly a justiciable question has arisen because there now arises a constitutional question. And the constitutional question is whether the Senate, having received the articles of impeachment, can order a remand and whether remanding is within the powers of the Senate. In fact, the Senate is involved in what is known as a performative contradiction because on the one hand, it orders a remand. On the other hand, it issues summons to the Vice President and orders her to find her answer.
That's the other thing.
Father, yan nga itatanong ko because there are some legal experts who also say hindi naman natigil yung impeachment with the order remanding. Because of the summons nga that was already officially received by the Office of the Vice President. And in fact, ang sabi ng kampo ngayon ni Vice President Duterte, pinag-aaralan na daw nila how they are going to respond to it. So tuloy-tuloy naman daw yung impeachment process. Parang clarification lang daw yung hinihingi ng Senate. What do you think of those observations, Father?
That's ridiculous, Ami, because if they want clarification, all they do is ask the lower house to issue a resolution of clarification. They don't have to remand the case. You know, when you remand, actually, you send the records of a case back to the court of origin or to the chamber of origin. And that's what's happening now. In fact, remanding is not within the powers of the Senate. The Constitution, Article 11, is very clear. As soon as the articles of impeachment have been constituted, the Senate tries. That word forthwith has frequently been used, and we cannot emphasize it enough. The trial should proceed forthwith. The only power of the Senate is to try. Now, if the defense believes that there is a constitutional infirmity attending the filing of this articles of impeachment, the defense can raise that as a matter of defense, but not the Senate taking the initiative to remand.
Father, dahil wala nga sa Constitution yung remanding, do you think the defense can raise it as an issue dahil you are asking the defense to answer articles of impeachment that have been remanded to the sender? Pwede ba nilang i-raise yung issue na yon? Bakit kami sasagot dyan, i-remand nyo?
That's exactly what I mean by a performative contradiction on their part, no? And if the defense will raise the point that they're not going to answer after all the articles have been remanded, that's
Yes.
going to be another delay. You know, Ami, you raised a very important point. You
Yes.
said some people claim that the impeachment proceedings are not delayed as a result of the remand. That's not completely true. Because if the lower house, for example, refuses to concede what the Senate is requesting, the Senate will not move forward. And so the impeachment proceedings will be delayed. So what the Senate did was really inimical to the progress of the impeachment proceedings, of the trial proceedings.
Father, di ba dalawa po yung order ng Senate Impeachment Court when it remanded the articles? The first one is certification that constitutional yung proseso ng pagpasa ng articles of impeachment. I suppose that was already answered by Resolution 2346, yung pinasa ng Kongreso the other night. That you mentioned already kanina. But the second order of the Senate is an assurance from the 20th Congress that it is still interested in pursuing the articles of impeachment in the next Congress. I'm wondering lang what happens kung sakaling the 20th Congress says na we are no longer interested. Could they say that? Can the 20th Congress drop the ball on the impeachment articles which were already passed by the 19th Congress? In other words, na-impeach yung VP eh. Can the 20th Congress say na hindi na lang?
That is exactly the malice and the evil of what Senate has done. Because it opens the door to the possibility that the 20th Congress says, no, we're not interested in pursuing the impeachment that was perfected by the 19th Congress. Now, I say that the move is both illegal and wrong. Why? Because the Vice President has already been impeached. In other words, impeachment is already a perfected act on the part of the 19th Congress. Now, for the 20th Congress to say, no, we're not interested in pursuing the impeachment is tantamount to acquitting her, which the lower house cannot do, and which only the Senate can do at a trial. At a trial.
There's another question related to that, Father, kasi after the senators took their oath, pero before the articles of impeachment were read, which Chis Escudero said is no longer needed, nag-move yung ibang senators to dismiss the case. Pwede ba yun? Kasi there are some legal experts who are saying, kung susundan natin yung sa US, nangyari na rin yun doon. In the case of Trump, na pinayagan naman daw. Pwede ba sa atin yun under our system?
The words of the Constitution are unmistakable in their clarity. So the moment there are articles of impeachment, what follows is the trial. No judge ever moves for the dismissal of a case that is before him. So it is highly improper and unconstitutional for a member of the Senate to move for impeachment. If there is any ground for dismissal, the ground for dismissal should be raised by the defense as a matter of defense and should not emanate from the Senate or any member thereof.
Father, yung basis po ni Senator Bato for moving for initially the dismissal and later on the remand of the articles of impeachment are particularly similar to the petition filed by VP Sara in February this year with the Supreme Court. Yung violation daw ng one-year bar for the initiation of impeachment proceedings in the lower chamber. I also noticed kasi that you also wrote about the case of Gutierrez versus the House of Representatives in 2011, which relates to the one-year bar. Can you run us through that as non-lawyers as to how to interpret itong one-year bar? Kasi obviously dinelay ng Congress yung tatlong impeachment complaints at pinasa yung fourth.
Yes. Gutierrez versus House of Representatives had to do with Merceditas Gutierrez, who at the time was ombudsman. And she complained that since there was a plurality of impeachment complaints, the sheer number of impeachment constitutional bar that not more than one impeachment complaint can be filed against the same official within 1 year. Now, first of all, what's the background of this constitutional prohibition? You know, impeachment is an act of accountability against the highest officials of the land. Now, if frivolous impeachment complaints are filed ceaselessly, the elective official will be doing nothing except answering impeachment complaints.
Opo.
That's the reason for the 1 year bar. However, in Gutierrez versus House of Representatives, Justice Conchita Carpio Morales, who was the ponente of that decision, had a very useful analogy. She said, what the Constitution forbids is several candles being lit within 1 year. However, if you have different matchsticks, no matter how many they may be, lighting a single candle, there is no violation of the Constitution. So you may have several complaints. If they relate to the same impeachable act or sets of acts, the Constitution is not violated. But here's the point, that you see, you say that the case was brought by Sara Duterte, the Vice President, to the Supreme Court.
Opo, in February.
That's a good point you make. And the fact that the Supreme Court did not issue a writ of injunction, did not stop Congress from proceeding, is what we call a pregnant negative. It's a refusal to act that is legally pregnant, which means that the Supreme Court did not find any clear right that was in danger of being violated.
But that's the reasoning now being used by the senator judges.
Yeah.
Pero Father,
Yeah.
you think kapag ganyan, you think in this case the Supreme Court might actually intervene in the impeachment process dahil Senate yun, they're making their own rules on a constitutional duty na naka-ano lang on the Senate.
Yes, it is true that Article 11 says that the Senate has the exclusive prerogative to try.
Yes.
However, under the definition of judicial power that you find in Article 8, Section 1 of the Constitution, judicial power includes the duty to determine whether grave abuse of discretion has been committed by any branch, agency, or instrumentality of government.
Yes.
So, no matter, for example, that the House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal and the Senate Electoral Tribunal are constituted by the Constitution as sole judge of election contests in respect to the members of their chambers, that does not prevent the Supreme Court from exercising its broadened certiorari powers under the 1987 Constitution.
Father, I have one more question, Father, if you don't mind. I don't know if you've seen the video, pero may umiikot na video magmula kahapon na kasi si VP Sara is in Indonesia. Indonesia ba o Malaysia?
Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Kuala Lumpur, sorry. In Kuala Lumpur.
Malaysia.
At kasama niya si Senator Judge Robin Padilla at saka si Senator Judge Amy Marcos. In the same gathering in Kuala Lumpur, pinakilala pa ni Robin Padilla, Senator Judge Robin Padilla, si VP Sara as the next President of the Philippines.
Yes, I watched that.
Sumigaw-sigaw sila
I
ng
watched
Duterte. I'm wondering what are the ramifications of this, if at all?
Well, highly improper and evidently a lack of statesmanship on the part of these legislators. They know very well that they already have been convened as a court. It is true that these people concerned, the ones you mentioned, did not take their oaths, but that does not negate the fact that Senate has been convened as an impeachment court. Knowing that they will sit down as judges, they are supposed to exhibit that requisite degree of neutrality and impartiality that allows them to pass reliable, trustworthy, and credible judgment. Unfortunately, they failed that test.
But Father, is there any way, is there anything, sorry, not anyway, is there anything that ordinary citizens can do about this? Or, kasi sabi nga nila, recusal and inhibition, these are voluntary acts and nobody can be forced to do anything like that.
That's correct. They really cannot be forced to recuse themselves, and they cannot be forced to inhibit. In fact, there is no rule on inhibition of the senators who are sitting in judgment. However, a sense of delicadeza and a sense of propriety should guide their conduct and should urge them to behave in such a way so as to allow the citizens to repose their trust and confidence in the impeachment court. Otherwise, the citizens lose their confidence completely in the impeachment court.
Ami, any more?
Pero Father, walang penalty, no? There is no penalty for that. Under the law.
At the moment, none. At the moment, none. However, if they continue to act improperly, there may be grounds to proceed against them under any of our existing laws.
Ano kayang law yon, Father?
Well, for example, the law that the law that requires them to act impartially, and the law that that forbids them from conferring undue benefits on anybody. These are all under Republic Act 3019, Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. And I think that yes,
Okay.
I think that all of those laws and provisions would be relevant in this case.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Father, we really
Okay.
appreciate your insights, but I'm afraid we're out of time. But maraming salamat po for
Thank you
joining us
very
this
much.
afternoon and a very fruitful discussion with you. Father Ranhilio Aquino, Dean po ng San Beda Graduate School of Law. Thank you very much, Father.
Evan. Thank you, Ami.
Ingat
Thank
po.
you.
Thank you, Father.
Oh, marami kang story, Ami.
Oo nga, oo.
For a Friday, di ba? Okay, happy weekend na sa inyong lahat. Thank you for joining Starcon today. Ami Pamintuan, ang bossing ng Philippine Star. Happy weekend, Ami. At,
Happy weekend, everybody.
happy weekend kay Tito Ronald Llamas, wherever he is, nagpe-prayer meeting ata, at kay Regina Day. So join us again on Monday at 4 p.m. for the Storycon. I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.